Now on the CTV News at 5, labor unrest continues at the Town of Coaldale. Plus, launching Screen Lethbridge.
Our goal definitely is to bring bigger pictures here, bigger productions here.
And Halo Air Ambulance is grounded after an incident during a patient transfer.
Telling your stories. CTV News Lethbridge with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. It has been 12 days since the Town of Coaldale locked out its employees. Despite the lockout approaching 2 weeks, workers say they are optimistic. Quinn Keenan tells us more.
Town of Coaldale employees remain set up outside Coaldale's Town Hall. After a year of negotiations, the town locked out its employees after they voted in favor of a strike. Almost 2 weeks later, and the roughly 40 employees are still picketing.
Spirits are high, the guys are good. We're out here camping out as long as it takes, and hopefully we get some resolution soon and get back to the table.
According to the union, the biggest sticking points are still benefit rollbacks seen in the town's most recent offers. They also claim the town is misleading residents about how much of a raise employees would get.
The negotiating team has kind of stated it's the rollbacks that are the biggest concern amongst the members. Once you take contract language out of a contract, it's impossible to get it back in.
The union has also taken issue with 4 anti-union signs the town has purchased, calling it a waste of taxpayer money. The town has fired back, saying it's trying to provide residents with accurate information. In a statement, Mayor Jack Van Ryn said, because the lockout is directly tied to municipal operations and because AUPE has been spreading misinformation to both its members and our residents, we felt it was important to use these tools to help keep the community properly informed. He also said each sign costs $200 a month and fits within the town's communication budget. The Town of Coaldale has stood firm since its most recent offer to the employees was rejected. In an open letter to the community, council said Coaldale's residents and businesses fund every municipal salary, wage, and benefit. Council has a duty to protect those dollars and ensure services are delivered responsibly. Neither the town or union could confirm if any progress has been made in negotiations. Quinn Keenan, CTV News, Coaldale.
The Town of Coaldale has started posting temporary jobs to fill gaps left by the locked out employees. A new initiative is hoping to put Lethbridge on the map for creative arts. The Screen Lethbridge is designed to support the growth of film and TV, video game development, even esports, while attracting new productions to the city. As Carson Marsouk reports, it'll act as a one-stop shop for filmmakers and companies wanting to film in the city.
Teams are now driving over 200 kilometers southeast to Alberta's Windy City, Lethbridge.
A new project is hoping to push the film industry in Lethbridge and put the city on the map for future productions.
Our goal definitely is to bring bigger pictures here, bigger productions here. But starting, honestly, I think it's a major focus to encourage local filmmakers to start making their own projects.
Screen Lethbridge includes a property database with private and public properties listed where filming could take place, along with the creation of a new specific policy for permitting.
Time is money in the film industry. You know, you're on these big sets, you're running, $5,000, $10,000 a minute sometimes, right? So any wasted time can really cost you a lot of money in the end. Having something that's geared specifically towards filmmakers is vital for the fluidity and the efficiency of productions.
Recent films like HBO's Last of Us, Ghostbusters Afterlife, and CTV's Amazing Race Canada have filmed throughout the region.
It's a multi-billion-dollar industry in Alberta. The city of Edmonton, for example, where about 1/3 of the industry is located, suggests it's responsible for up to 50,000 jobs. So part of this initiative was really to make sure that Lethbridge is, getting its fair share of that provincial pie.
Program staff will connect with location managers with different film locations, such as the airport or Fort Whoop-Up, to make the process as seamless as possible. The idea for this type of initiative began in 2022.
that time, there were roughly 2 or 3 film-related inquiries that came into the organization. And since we started about 2 years ago, we've actually seen year-to-date about 17.
The group is aiming to have 3 or 4 productions in the next 3 or 4 years.
Lethbridge thrives with its cultural and its arts, and there's a lot of conversation with the University of Lethbridge as well to encourage students and local filmmakers to start. That way we at least have a basis and we have something that these bigger productions can see.
Carson Marsuk, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Screen Lethbridge is a collaboration between the city and Economic Development Lethbridge. More information can be found on the city's website. Alberta's Privacy Commissioner has questions about the province's push to add citizenship details to driver's licenses. Earlier this week, Premier Danielle Smith promised mandatory citizenship markers will be placed on IDs in late 2026. Today, in a statement to CTV News, the Information and Privacy Commissioner of Alberta questioned the change. She says her office was not informed or consulted ahead of time, and that it's unclear what the benefit for Albertans would be. Smith pushed back, saying the change is about streamlining services and preventing election fraud.
The only people who are entitled to receive Alberta health care are people who live in Alberta and pay taxes in Alberta. So we've got to make sure that we're addressing that. And we also know that citizenship is one of the obligations that you have to demonstrate if you're going to vote. So we're confident that we'll be able to manage those things. Other jurisdictions have been able to. I'm sure we'll be able to work through it.
The Privacy Commissioner says her office will further assess the changes once it sees the proposed legislation. And the Premier is directing Alberta's Jobs Minister to use all legal means possible to give the province more control over immigration. The new mandate letter says it needed to ensure the province sees sustainable levels of newcomers. Smith's directive also says Canadian citizens should have first access to jobs and young people should be prioritized over temporary foreign workers. The Bank of Canada has cut its key lending rate to 2.5%. The cut was largely expected, given August inflation was at 1.9%. The Bank of Canada says global economic growth is showing signs of slowing and higher U.S. tariffs and ongoing uncertainty.
GDP declined 1.6% in the second quarter, largely as expected. Exports to the United States fell sharply, both as payback from the pull forward of activity in the first quarter and because tariffs are dampening U.S. demand.
Meanwhile, the United States is launching a review of the current North American Free Trade Agreement. The U.S. Trade Representative will hold 45 days of public consultations. The current agreement has so far shielded Canada and Mexico from the full impact of Trump's tariffs. All right, Danielle Savoni, another day of sunshine in southern Alberta.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic, especially, again, fall begins officially on Monday. We're certainly not feeling like it's going to start anytime soon. We have a good amount of heat out there, that's for sure, summer heat. And as you can see by the radar, satellite imagery, well, there's also nothing to talk about going on at the moment. And it will continue to be stable even as we go through these next 24 hours. 28 degrees is the temperature in Lethbridge right now. Again, it comes with all sunshine in all of the far south. So we're 4 degrees warmer today in Lethbridge at this time compared to yesterday, and we're about the same in Medicine Hat. So Medicine Hat at 26, Milk River at 26, Pincher Creek at 25. Your longer range forecast is just ahead, Jackie.
All right, thanks, Danielle. Lethbridge police are trying to track down 7 people in the alleged attack of a 55-year-old man, and some of the attackers reportedly used weapons on the victim. Around 4:30 Monday morning, officers were called to an assault in the 200 block of 7th Street North. These are the descriptions of the suspects. One was seen pushing a black bicycle, another was on a scooter. A dog was also seen with the group. The victim was taken to hospital and has since been discharged. Anyone who has information about this incident is urged to call Lethbridge Police or submit a tip anonymously through Crime Stoppers. Halo Air Ambulance in Medicine Hat has been grounded while Emergency Health Alberta Services conducts a review following a recent safety incident. EHS Alberta says the review was ordered following a recent operational matter during a patient transfer. No patients, medical staff, or crew were injured during the event. Halo is required to submit a corrective action plan by Friday. In the meantime, Stars Air Ambulance will provide service in the Medicine Hat area. In a statement to CTV, Halo says it's always placed the highest priority on patient care and operational service. It goes on to say Halo remains fully committed to working with EHS to address the concerns identified and ensure all expectations are met. The Lethbridge Police Service has opened its yearly intake for volunteer crisis support workers. Volunteers have been assisting victims of crime for the last 34 years. This includes responding to emergency scenes, offering follow-up trauma care, preparing clients for court, and more. Volunteers have become crucial to police being able to offer 24/7 support. It can have a huge impact for victims of crime in need of comfort.
This is one unit within the service that's very much the heart of the community here, and we want to make sure that the people in need always have someone who can respond to them and they're able to spend that time.
Working alongside the volunteers is Victim Support Dog Cruiser. Staff have been able to teach Cruiser how to play the game Kerplunk. Cruiser has been able to play the game with children in need of victim support, which has helped them through some very difficult times. A Lethbridge couple has made a very generous donation to the future of cardiac care in the city. Glenn and Janice Varzari are giving $100,000 to the Bringing Hearts Home campaign. The $300 million campaign is to build a new cardiac catheterization lab, electrophysiology lab, new echo labs, MRI and CT scanners in Lethbridge and Medicine Hat hospitals. The Lethbridge Public Library is once again expanding its services in the city. The library is bringing back its small pop-up style library inside the Labor Club Ice Center. The bookstore allows library customers to pick up holds, browse a selection of items, and return books that they've borrowed from the main and crossings branches of the library. The bookstop also allows the library to gather feedback around planning for library services. The bookstop will be open until March. A Saskatchewan farmer has restored a vintage combine and has used it alongside his modern-day machines during harvest. It's a 1962 Massey Ferguson, which was purchased at auction for $1,500. It required an engine replacement, but otherwise was in good working order. It takes all day to harvest 60 acres with the old combine, while modern machines can do the same job in just a couple of hours. The Radville area farmer says it's the type of combine that he used when he began farming.
It had been stored in a steel building for the last 45 years, and it was the motor was totally seized. So my son Ross and the hired man Lawrence and my other son Kyle and two grandsons Logan and Brandon, we changed the motor in it and got her going.
Verhel says it is like driving a classic convertible with the top down. The old combine maybe isn't practical for today's farming, but the family says they have never seen their dad happier. Meanwhile, it's been a challenging growing season for pumpkin farmers. This patch near Edmonton has been seeing a dry start to summer and a frost later in the season. In eastern Canada, some producers are warning Halloween jack-o'-lanterns could be about 30% smaller than usual. Farmers there blame a hot, dry summer for the smaller yield. Well, we're going to hear more about how long that sunshine will stick around for us when we return. We also will look into why COVID cases are climbing once again.
All right, Skycam facing northwest. What is a lot of people out there and animals and bugs enjoying the weather, as you can see by our Skycam. A beautiful summer day. We're getting this heat. I mean, we lost some heat in July. We're making up for it right now, and we're not done with this yet. There's a lot of warmth in the longer range forecast, and I'll show you the longer range in just a second here. But 26 was the high in Calgary. Some of the hotter spots in the country kind of all over the place today. 27 was the high in Edmonton. Another hot spot was Ottawa at 26 and Fredericton at 27 for today, and also Prince George at 26. There's a lot of heat up to the north because this ridge of high pressure, the edge of it is all the way up in the territory. So this is a large, stable ridge of high pressure. So it's brought us up to 28 in Lethbridge for today, and 26 in Medicine Hat, 27 in Brooks, 25 in Pincher Creek. Not bad for mid-September, I'd say, and certainly well above normal. When we look at radar and satellite imagery, you can really draw that outline of the jet stream all the way up in the territories in the clouds. This is the ridge of high pressure. It promotes sinking air, stability, sunshine. Now this pattern will start to break apart a little bit by the time we get into Friday. It's a one-day thing though, then it will reform again. Another one will. So I'll show you this. As we go through tomorrow, we'll start to lose it. So we'll start to notice some clouds increase later in the day in some communities in the far south. And then by Friday, we lose the ridge completely. It will be back though by Saturday. Here's a look at the futurecast to get an idea of the hour by hour so you can see what it's going to look like. For the rest of today, it's quiet. For tomorrow, it's quiet. It's just we'll notice some clouds increasing tomorrow ahead of this entire weather pattern change. And then by Friday, we're opened up to the chance of showers. It looks like the chance of showers, though, will mainly remain north of the Trans-Canada in the morning hours. But then in the afternoon, we'll get that development along the mountains, and that will track off to the east. So Pincher Creek, Crow's Nest Pass over to Lethbridge, and smaller chance in Medicine Hat, but we do have the potential for isolated showers or even thunderstorm activity Friday later in the day. And then it quiets down once again on Saturday. We'll have maybe some residual cloud cover at times, but it'll be pretty nice once again, and temperatures will climb once again on Saturday as the next ridge of high pressure builds in. Smoke-wise, we're low risk on the Air Quality Health Index in the far south. We may notice that we could get to moderate for Friday morning, and then it will clear out once again. So overall, we're looking at pretty decent air quality, if not very good air quality, as we head through the rest of this week. East Kootenay area, 9 tonight, fog patches developing that will continue into early tomorrow morning, a high of 25 with increasing cloud throughout the day. Crow's Nest Pass, increasing cloud as well, 8 overnight. So we're at that time of year where we're looking at those single-digit overnight lows. So cool starts to the morning, but look at that, a high of 24 degrees. And Medicine Hat, a high of 27 for tomorrow with a whole lot of sunshine. Looking at the longer range forecast for the Lethbridge area, 26 for tomorrow, clouds increasing later in the day. Again, that small risk of late day shower and thunderstorm development, and just a high of 23. But then check out Saturday as the next ridge builds in, getting us close to that 30 mark on Saturday.
It's more than 5 years since the World Health Organization declared a COVID-19 pandemic, and cases are starting to pick up again in both the U.S. and Canada. CTV's Heather Wright explains why.
An end of summer trend. COVID cases tick up just as the leaves start to turn.
I just felt like I was coming down with something, but it felt a little extra.
Sarah Bartok had never tested positive for COVID until last week.
I had pain in my eyeballs, and the fever was quite extreme.
While it's still too early for influenza and RSV, COVID cases are up in many parts of the country. Nationally, the wastewater viral activity level for COVID is at moderate, but levels are high in Edmonton, Winnipeg, and Regina. While experts don't predict this year's virus to be very different from the past, they are encouraging people to stay home when sick and get vaccinated, especially older Canadians.
We know if we look at hospitalization and death, it really is overwhelmingly in that age cohort, especially in those over 80.
This year's respiratory virus season comes at a time of heightened vaccine hesitancy, fueled in part by decisions made south of the border. COVID shots are being limited in certain states and vaccine guidelines are changing, though a number of states have rejected the new controversial approach to vaccines.
I think it always is concerning when you see a group take a step in a vastly different direction. But I think if you look at Canada compared to much of the world, our policy and advice aligns pretty closely with most other places.
COVID vaccines will begin rolling out across the country later this fall, with Alberta the only province that will now charge most people to get the vaccine. It will still be free for those living in long-term care. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Still ahead, we have got the latest on Blue Jay shortstop Bo Bichette when we come back. The Lethbridge Hurricanes Wall of Honor is set to get a bit bigger. The team has announced its inductees for the 2025 class. Dominic Pittis and Herman Elfring will be the latest names added. Pittis spent 3 seasons with the Canes in the early 90s. The forward had a pair of 100-point-plus seasons and is 10th in team history in points. Elfring, meanwhile, spent 23 years in various roles for the Canes. The longtime board member served as president and governor. The induction ceremony is October the 17th. It's back-to-back golds for Canada's Ethan Katzberg at the World Championships in Japan. The 23-year-old from Kamloops smashed the competition with a record-breaking hammer throw. Canada continues to dominate the event after Cameron Rogers won her event on Monday. The Toronto Blue Jays will be looking for their 7th win in a row tonight after another dramatic finish in last night's game.
And the 0-2. Got him!
The Jays are known for their comebacks, but last night it was Toronto that had to hold off the Rays, who had 2 on base and just 1 out in the 9th. Reliever Jeff Hoffman got the job done, and the Jays win 6-5 for their 6th straight win. Kevin Gausman gets the start tonight. Meanwhile, the Jays will be without shortstop Bo Bichette for the remainder of the season. Jays manager John Schneider confirmed the news, saying the team is focused on getting the 27-year-old back in time for playoffs. The All-Star shortstop sprained his knee on September the 6th after a collision at home plate with the Yankees catcher. Bichette leads Major League Baseball in hits and is among the league leaders in batting average. Still ahead on the CTV News at 5, how an Edmonton grade 12 student is using his free time to help people around the world. A grade 12 Edmonton student is using his skills and free time to help people around the world. As CTV's Merrick Takash shows us, he's making prosthetic limbs for people in Uganda.
2 side-by-side 3D printers are working overtime in Issam Tahir's living room. Years ago, Tahir spotted a 3D printed dragon at a farmer's market. Soon after that, he started making his own dragons, something that would soon come in handy for a different project.
I kind of kept that skill with me and slowly started to develop it till I could actually turn my hobby and my skill into something that could actually make a difference in the world around us.
Now the 16-year-old is using his printing equipment to help people in Uganda who are in need of prosthetic limbs.
It honestly just feels like a way that I can, turn my passion into something tangible. And I'm really fulfilled, and I really hope that these arms make a long-lasting difference in those people's lives.
The organization he's been working with is based in Saratoga, California. The United Enable Coalition sends limbs directly to Uganda.
The people that he's sending these prosthetics to are people who used to have major limb differences. And in Uganda, they take these limb differences really seriously, as some parents actually hide away disabled children away from the public because they're ashamed of having a child with a limb difference.
The president of the coalition says what Tahir is doing shows what teenagers are capable of.
He could be making fidget spinners, but he's chosen instead to devote his time to making something for someone who's literally across on the other side of the world.
Tahir's mother is proud of her son for making a difference.
And to even imagine what it's like for people to be using the prosthetic that he created, I think it's just amazing.
Tahir's work has already put 2 arms on people in Uganda.
I hope to send the next one as soon as possible, just because now that I've developed this skill, I kind of want to use it more and more. I hope to send the next one fairly soon, and hopefully many after that as well.
Merrick Takash, CTV News, Edmonton.
Wow. Thank you for sharing this time with us. Now here's the early edition of the CTV National News.